Hello and welcome to Matters on Ground. After the NSAS protest which rocked the nation in October 2020, a panel of inquiry was set up to look into the shootings that happened at the Lekki toll gate that said date. Now, the panel is done with their investigation and they've presented a 309-page report to the Lagos State Governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu. Okay, and indeed, they've agreed that there was a massacre. All right, today on the show, we're looking at the Lekki Toll Plaza massacre. I have my co-host in the building, Osasogie Ibiayi. My name is Favor of Vienloba. We also have a guest. You meet them after the break. Welcome back. Now, joining me now is my co-host Osasogie and our guest. Our guest is the executive director of an NGO called Not Too Young to Lead Initiative. Please join me. Welcome, Mr. Elvis Akpobi. Thank you for joining us, sir. Good morning, Osasogie. Yeah, how was your weekend?
Fine.
And we are aware you went to Morocco and you just got back. So how was the trip? Just walk us through.
It was impactful. It was fruitful. It was. I'm a privileged and director of the Nigeria Young Professionals Forum, and we needed to, relate with our colleagues in Morocco, make them understand that it's not just make Nigeria synonymous to greatness and the endless opportunities, business opportunities in Nigeria, and it was a fruitful section.
Impressive. All right, let's dive into the conversation. We're looking at the Lekki Toll Plaza massacre because the panel that was set up, to look into the issues have now indeed said that there was a massacre. Now, when you saw the report online, although it's leaked, you saw bits and bits online. What was your initial reaction to the report?
I was overwhelmed with shame, owing to the fact that people who pay taxes, and our tax paid those military people. It seems like we pay them to cut short the future of young Nigerians. I'm a young Nigerian, and it's quite unfortunate that my tax pays someone older than me that will end up taking the life of my contemporaries. It's not too cool. It became obvious to us, and I'm glad these reports came out. It was leaked, and it's obvious that the lives of people, young Nigerians, are cut short by people who ordinarily should protect young Nigerians. It now tells you what the present state we are in as Nigerians. Despite, there are still times we had the image maker of this country. He's old enough to be my grandfather. I would not want to mention his name here. Said there was nothing like that, like it was a fugazi. It was, the news were fake and all that, but the panel report brought out the main truth. So we're watching, and let's not forget that the world is watching us, and what we do today, the information that comes out today, determines how they treat you and I when we get to other countries.
Yes. Okay. So, still, you mentioned somebody, an image maker old enough to be a grandfather, who actually said nothing like that happened. So I think in other countries with an actual system that works, they would consider things like that as efforts to want to conceal or hide the truth. That's tampering with justice. And we know that a popular Nigerian DJ Switch, even had to flee the country because of this same reason, because she streamed live on Instagram. So now that it has come out to the public that this actually happened, although a lot of people came out to say that it did not happen, what is the way forward? Now that we know that it actually happened, how do we go on from here?
Those involved should be prosecuted. Because if they are not, it goes a long way to tell the world how Nigeria value as citizens.
Yes.
There were cases where I read a report where an American citizen was head trapped by Boko Haram. They came and rescued that person.
Yes, just one
person. They were talking about a lot of young persons that died. You can't just sweep it off the carpet. These persons died holding the Nigeria flag. So I'm still watching and seeing what a white paper is meant to come out, and seeing the way forward, what comes out of it. But the fact remains that whoever is involved, the brigadier in charge of that battalion should be prosecuted, because you can't take these young people, their children and offspring of a particular family, despite they might not have the right surname. You can't cut short their life and you expect your offspring to be successful, to live as Nigerians. So whoever is involved, whoever made that command, there is a particular person that I'm presuming wants to preside over Nigeria that came out to say nothing happened. You don't play politics with people's life. Let's ask ourselves a bit, what's the value of the human life in Nigeria today? You want to marry to such incident. But let's see what they will do.
Yes. Okay. So when you talk about people that are involved getting prosecuted, it becomes very, very dicey because, okay, you mentioned the brigadier in charge of that command. The brigadier also must have gotten the command from someone above him.
Yeah.
So I remember the governor of Lagos State, after the incident occurred, initially said nobody died. Then later he admitted that 2 people died, but it was forces above or beyond his control. Yeah. So which also tells us now that there are forces beyond all our controls in Nigeria.
Yeah, like I always say, when that incident happened, then I know I made a tweet that says that to whom it may concern, always remember that the voice of the people supersedes a singular voice.
Yes.
Whatever happened should, ignite you and I as young people that it's time to take our destinies in our hands. It's obvious if you hear the utterances coming out from these people whose decision affects our futures, whether negatively or positively. 2023 is coming again. We young people will keep sitting down and saying, they will rig it. Don't worry, it's them. It's a lie. Go and register to vote.
Okay.
Do you get? Then, people only rig elections when there is voter apathy. If you don't come, they will write it like you came. Go and register to vote. It's time. From what happened that day, they always tell us that Nigeria youth, we don't want to do anything, we are lazy and all that. What happened October 28th, 2020? We told the world that we are not voiceless. 2023 is coming again. We can tell the world. They ban Twitter, ban Facebook, whatever they want to do. But the fact remains that they already know that there's a generation of young people they need to negotiate with ahead of 2023.
Okay.
Because I believe, and I always say on every platform, I'm a privileged essay to the governor of Delta State, but the problem, what Nigeria is faced today has nothing to do with being in PDP or APC.
Yes.
It has a lot to do with people, citizens who knows that injustice dressed up as strategy is still injustice and still totally unacceptable. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, still speaking about the panel report, it was a 309-page report. Now, another committee has been set up to review the first panel that was set up. Now, this first panel that was set up, they were handpicked by the governor, to look into this matter. Is it that they were not trustworthy to deliver their job? Now another committee has been set up to review the report. So if this other committee, they gave them 2 weeks, if they come up with their own report and we have the first initial report, like they say in church, whose report do we then believe? So whose report are we going to believe? Because now we're going to have the initial
report. Is the Nigeria culture. If the first report had favored them, they won't set up another committee. Let's tell ourselves the bitter truth. This new committee now, I may be wrong, but calls have started flying up and down. It's just to amend the previous report. But the fact remains that I have been privileged to travel to other countries. It's only us Nigerians, young Nigerians, that can change the dynamics of this country. What really gets me angry is the people leading us today. They were people who were privileged to enjoy a better Nigeria. But today they are handing over a very, very bad Nigeria to us. So for me, I believe this committee, what will happen? I pray it's in correlation with the previous committee, but I know, I may be wrong, but will will be going, manipulation wants to take place. But one thing is certain, the blood of those Nigerians will speak for Nigeria.
Now, speaking of manipulation, 28 states set up panels of inquiry, and it's just one state that has presented a report now, and there's chaos.
Other states are presented.
Yeah, and there's chaos everywhere. So by the time more reports begin to come out, what do you see? What do you make? What do you
why that state become? Why Lagos State became very, very critical is because the massacre happened in Lagos, and the world is watching Lagos State. I pray for the governor. I pray God grant him wisdom that even if he wants to manipulate, the manipulation curve will be very, very flat for him. To other states, I know of Delta State, they've presented their report, and I may not be privileged to really know. We and I were only privileged because this one was leaked.
Yeah.
But I know my governor, who is youth-friendly, has been able to set up a committee for compensation of those persons that were, involved, that one way or the other had their houses burnt and all that. I have a friend who is in that committee that is very, very competent. He's a Niger Delta activist by Israel.
What about the victims? What are the compensations for them?
Yes, there are compensations for them. I know they budgeted almost 100 and something million.
But we don't really need compensation. Shouldn't the people involved be brought to book?
Yes, aside compensation, I was privileged to speak with a friend of mine who is in the committee. He said those involved, they are being persecuted at the moment. That's what he told me. I'm judging from what he told me.
Okay.
But let's not play politics. We're talking about human lives here. Nigerians holding flags. Because there was this notion that came that once you are holding flag, there's nobody will shoot at you. Am I right?
National anthem.
Yeah, singing the national anthem. That action from the military men shows that the national anthem, there's no need singing national anthem.
There's no point.
Yes, it's just like national anthem is just like a chorus.
Nursery rhyme.
A nursery rhyme, yeah. Do you get? That's what and that reflects how the world sees us. Back in other countries, once they sing, lately, if you observe, you go to parties or any function, when they sing national anthem, you see some people so reluctant. Like, I pledge to Nigeria, my country. Is it your country? With this action, it shows that it's not your country. But the fact remains that we can't continue seeing the problems of Nigerians. Like I was telling you before this section started, you and I will have a role to play as young Nigerians in making Nigeria better.
Okay.
Yes, because let's face the fact. The people making policies for us today, they failed. But are we going to fail? What you and I were faced today as Nigerians, we didn't cause it.
Yeah.
We inherited these problems. You now ask yourself in your little space, do you want your children to inherit the same problem?
Okay.
So it begins now. In your little space, let's just start doing the right thing.
Okay. Before we get to the point where you start enlightening us on how we are supposed to play our little parts as Nigerians, let's take a look at initially when this report was unraveled, when it leaked. I think we got a word from Mr. President saying that he wanted to wait on other states' governors who were involved to do something about it before he issues a directive. Do you think that's a good call on his part? Because we understand that he's the commander-in-chief of armed forces. So in situations like this that happen nationally, that has this kind of magnitude, we're looking up to him for a word, just one word that could maybe
response.
Yes, a response. And he's saying that he wants to, be recessive for now and allow other governors.
I respect the president.
Yes.
I respect the office as a president, but it's quite unfortunate that at the moment, the people leading us today, the problems we are faced as Nigerians today, they are digital problems. Why the people leading us today have analog problems? So when analog mindset, so when statements like that come in, you should expect statements like that. They're not in sync with what is happening. Do you get? That's why you notice when they go to international conferences, when they are being asked something else, they say something else. Do you get? So for me, I will not blame the president. We elected him. We needed change. But it's just quite unfortunate that we didn't ask what kind of change he wants to bring to the table.
Yes.
So come to 2023, because we're talking about the future at the moment.
Yes.
We should be careful when people tell us change. We should ask what kind of change. Is it for the better or for the worse? Is left for Nigerians.
Now, people have the opinion that a lot that has been happening lately is geared towards 2023 election, because we've seen where top government officials were sentenced, like Mena, the son, and everything is happening at once. Do you see this as a build-up towards 2023 election, because they are trying to bind the masses back to themselves?
They are playing political shares with our future.
Wow.
If you observe, there was a particular one that happened not too long. I won't want to mention name. That a clip came up and said, "I can never be a part of that party," but today that person is in that party. Do you get this whole thing has to do? If you sit in your little closet, it's their personal interest, not the interest of you and I.
Okay.
You get, but why we have an advantage as young people is we are digitally oriented. Our strength is in our numbers. Do you get? If only we can bury our differences in religion, ethnicity, and party. If we sit down, strategize, but then we'll elect somebody that will put Nigeria. It's not, like I was telling you, it's not about being young, talk about youth advocacy, inclusion. No, it's about young people with character. 2023 election, every young person, you can elect an older person who you think will put Nigeria on it. But if not, push these old guys aside. Tell them how it's being done, because we'll keep complaining. Do you see the enthusiasm we'll put during this reality show, Big Brother Africa, Big Brother Nigeria? If we put that same enthusiasm in our elections, we'll get it right.
Okay.
The way we vote, the way we want to, maybe you are in the traffic, I need to rush up, I need to watch the eviction. If we have that same mind to go and register to vote, that election day, we vote. We sit down and say, "Oh yeah, count this vote." Do you know there was this Anambra election is a litmus test? There's a particular, some electorate collected money and still voted who they wanted to vote.
Yeah.
I heard of some persons that are being compensated for even rejecting 5,000, because when you collect that money, you suffer in the next 4 years. So for me, I believe that they already know that we are getting more aware, and they need to do the right. Everything they are doing is politics. But my dear, it's time we move from politics and real governance, because Nigeria today, we call ourselves giant of Africa. For me, we're not giant of Africa, sorry to say. With what is on ground in Nigeria today, the actions of people who sit at the table where our future is being discussed have not made it known that we're giant of Africa.
Okay.
But it's left for you and I, young people, to go get our PVCs and, show these people. They should advise us. It's not like we're pushing them away, but we can glean on their knowledge, but we'll do what is best for Nigeria.
Okay. So talking about young people coming into, sitting on the table of, I think you're in the best position to tell us how easy it is. Because I think it goes beyond just casting votes. So if we say that this older generation, they're not serving us well, and we want the younger person, who's that one person, that young person that we want to, are we going to come up with a new political party for this young person to represent us? What are the steps? What are we supposed to do, and how do we get it right?
Okay, let's start with, it works with party. We've not really subscribed to independent candidacy yet. Am I right? If young persons flood every party, young persons that are sane, not insane young persons,
Yes.
do you get flood every political party? Because they take advantage of us, because we shy away from being part of political parties, and because it's political parties we vote for. If I'm a PDP person today, I'm passionate about PDP, but sometimes you find out that if not that I'm that exposed, if they manipulate and bring in an old person who I know is not capable, I want to, because of my party, let me subscribe to it. So if young persons flood every political party, and during their primaries be like, "No, we can't have you, you are too old, bring your son who has good character, who will support the person," that's the person that will be the flag bearer for the party. Am I right? And if people want to project that person, if the citizens see that this person can deliver, this young person is in touch with the people, they will vote that young person. Am I right? That person becomes that person sitting at the table where our future will be negotiated, and where our future will be discussed. Because take it or leave it, In as much I will shy away from, and don't worry, I don't want to get involved in politics and all that. I want to leave activism. My dear, their policies is affecting us.
Yes, of course.
The naira keeps falling every day. Am I right? It's not you and I that is falling the naira now.
No.
It's people who make decisions on our behalf. So why I keep reiterating on the fact that we should get involved is you are getting involved not for yourself alone, but for people, those infants who don't have free health care, who don't have good schools. You are getting involved on their behalf.
Okay, all right, we're wrapping up the show now. Now, on the final note, by the time the 2 weeks elapsed, that was given to the other committee to come up with the new report, what do you expect of the government to do for Nigerians? Okay,
firstly, from what I read, I think the governor of Lagos State should apologize to Nigerians.
Okay.
Not forgetting my father, Lai Mohammed. I think his excesses, because he's representing us, he lives on our tax. If we're not here, if there is no followers, we won't have leaders. He should apologize to young Nigeria, because he came out, at the time he was even saying that CNN should apologize to Nigerian government and all that, but I think that's his own. They should apologize to, and those involved should be prosecuted.
Okay.
Then to those, the new committee is set up today, they should know that their actions and inactions, whether they manipulate or they do the right thing, will be in the annals of history in Nigeria. And their surnames, Nigerians are taking care of their names. If they don't pay the consequences of their actions, their children will pay the consequences. So they should do the right thing. If not for anything, for the blood of those young Nigerians, the treasures of Nigerians whose lives were cut short holding the Nigeria flag.
All right, thank you very much
Thanks
for coming.
Thank you for such an eye-opening and insightful conversation that you shared with us today. Fortunately, because of time, we have to wrap up now. Just like you said, if we keep talking about the issues of Nigeria, 24 hours is not enough for us to discuss it. But we are beckoning on you. Just like you said, it doesn't take one person to make the Nigeria of our dreams. It's not just up to our leaders alone. You also have a responsibility as a responsible Nigerian. Do well to play your part as a responsible Nigerian. But this is how we round up for today. Follow us across our social media platforms at TSLNIGERIA.TV on Instagram and Facebook, and on YouTube at TSLNIGERIA_TV. Subscribe, like, and share this message. All right? Have a lovely rest of the day. Bye-bye.
Stay connected to TSL Nigeria and get updates on the go all day, every day. Subscribe to our YouTube channel on TSL Nigeria TV and join our online family.